Well, happy St. Patrick's Day from the Off the Rails Sports Podcast. I'm here with my co-host Scott. How you doing today, Scott?
I'm doing well, doing well. It's St. Patty's Day. St. Patty's Day. Let's get that green beer going, hey? Hey, that
Give
don't
me a
look too
double.
green to me. Let me pinch you.
Yes, I
Come
know.
on.
I know. You know what? I This is turquoise. See, Scott, let me explain something to you. You're more of salt of the earth guy. You actually have a real green. You know how now, remember when we were growing up, there was like eight colors, and then
Yeah,
all of a sudden blue became hunter blue, but it really looked like it was green. And then you had seafoam green, which actually looks like blue or whatever. Okay.
yeah.
And I don't know if it was just some marketing thing for new DIY shows on TV, but literally I lost track of what colors are. So I'm just gonna
Oh,
say this is turquoise, and I'm trying to elevate my game to get to your
you,
level.
if you want to have fun, just walk up to the Home Depot paint counter and say, I want everlasting blah, blah, blah. And
Yes,
then see what they pull out. You might get a white color. You might get a blue color. It might be some kind of orange color. It is amazing how that paint swatch has changed and the names they got now. Or
it is
better yet,
amazing.
they'll say, that is not a Bear product. You need to go to insert
Yes,
whatever paint company.
see
You know,
over Sherman Williams or whatever.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. Wow,
Yes. Wow.
insanity, insanity. Hey, the Fords showed up in NASCAR this week. They actually finished and got the win. The Wood brothers win with not being
Scott,
on a plate
Scott,
track,
Scott, Scott, hold on.
without being on a
I
plate
got to
track.
interrupt you. Hold on. Hold on.
Ah,
I got to
sorry,
interrupt
excited.
you. You know, I know you're excited. We're going to start into NASCAR. We're going to start into motorsports, but John
Ah,
is going to tee it up. Let's get this
oh,
hottie started for St. Patty's Day. Hottie
woo,
started.
woo,
Yeah,
woo,
there you go.
woo.
All right,
Raise the
continue, my
roof.
friend. The key, raise the
Ah,
roof. Right, right.
ah, wait, yeah. Let's see. You
In
got
my
the club
semi
ready to
green,
smash?
in my semi
Yeah.
green. Yes. So
Are you
go ahead. What were
smashing the
you
club
saying?
again? Oh,
So
I'm just
now we're
saying the
talking.
Wood brothers, the Wood NASCAR. The recap, right?
Yes.
20 different drivers, 100 wins now in NASCAR, 101 maybe. I'm not sure on
Okay.
that. Don't
All
quote
right.
me completely.
I will.
Josh Berry, yeah, I know. I know, like you like getting those stats right.
Yes, I do.
Get that statistician in the background.
Yeah,
Let's key it in. Let's key it in. Make sure he's right or wrong.
I'm
All
looking.
right. So, hey, Josh Berry, junior alum. This guy is a
Yes.
hands-on driver. He works on the car. Blaney was working on his car. Didn't find out for Blaney though. You know, he was strong. Showed up at Arizona, like we were saying, top five it, top 10 it. See the
Mm-hmm.
front of the race. You
Yes.
might get the win. Unfortunately, Bush, your bet hit the wall twice. Oh man, those Vegas drivers did not have a good day at all. Noah Gragson had issues. Hertz had issues. Ah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
there was
Penske,
definitely
yeah, but Penske
Penske.
had speed.
First of
I,
all, I'm happy
I,
to see the Wood brothers win.
yeah, but let's just call it is what it is. They are a Penske team. I don't know if
They
there's the
they're
rule in
the fourth
NASCAR that they
Penske
can't.
car. They're the fourth
Yeah,
Penske car. Yes.
yeah. Let's just call it what it is. Like I don't know why they got to make sure like oh they're still the Wood brothers. No, that's a Penske car.
No argument.
Josh Berry's in a Penske car. He is killing it. Cendric was up there for a while. Logano, Blaney was trying to get there. That guy was fast.
Mm-hmm.
Ford was super, super on it today. Hendrick, or yesterday, Hendrick was there, but they couldn't get to that clean air, right? They
Right.
got to get that clean air to get in the front. The Fords made sure that they kept up there. One of my picks, Reddick, he was there for a minute, then he had
He
some
was.
issues.
He was. He was.
It's we made our predictions before qualifying. It's so hard without seeing
It
practice.
absolutely is. And this is how we use this to please hit the subscribe and like button. Leave your comments unless they're going to be negative. Okay, absolutely. We are going to use the lack of qualifying as our
Hey,
escape pod. We are in the escape pod running out. I will say this. We did talk about that. I did say on Friday, if you're going to take a long shot, do it before qualifying because you don't know
right, you
what's going
did.
to happen. And
Yeah.
I will say this that, hey, things happen. I did get a top five with my top five pick, Ross Chastain. He got there.
Yep.
Okay,
He was
look,
there.
I will look at that. I looked at that sheet, Scott. I don't know if you saw it, but Kyle Busch, I had him. He was 20-1. The next guy down was Josh
Yep.
Berry at 100-1. 100 to
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a
yeah.
good hit. That's a good hit.
Right. That's a good
You know.
that's a year. That's one
Yeah.
of those things. Let me ask you some things about the race. I'm coming from, for everybody out there, I'm not as informed as Scott. I'm not trying to put him on a pedestal, but he really does understand the sport. Explain something to me. How does Christopher Bell? Well, first of all, why did they have such a problem keeping the tires on the car? You know,
You
we
know,
saw numerous. Is that just
you
speed?
know,
They're trying to change so
it's
quick,
just yeah, they're just trying to change quick. I mean, the easiest positions to pass are on pit road, right? And you got JGR, Hendrick, Penske. That they got these guys practicing indoors, so nobody sees what they're doing to
right?
make them so much quicker. What are they altering? Even though NASCAR is giving them the tools to change the tires and all that, there is a little bit of altering that they're doing. Come on,
Absolutely.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
you know, and to be so synced in now, and it's one lug nut that has to cinch on perfectly tight, you
Right.
know, and then the let's get something so smart like these crew chiefs. Hey, my tire's not tight. Well, just stop in another place and just get it tightened right now. We'll
Hmm.
take this penalty because it's less. That was such a smart move. You know,
It was.
and
It
to
was.
and to be at the top for three races, like it's so hard to be for four. 2018 was the last time we saw somebody win three in a row. Harvick. Jimmy Johnson was the one
Okay.
that did
Okay.
four.
Okay. Okay. Let's hold on. Hold on 1 second. Let's
Whoa,
tell
whoa,
the
whoa! Pump the
podcast.
brakes.
Let's tell the podcaster. Scott is referring to Christopher Bell, and
Yes,
he didn't get his tire put on correctly, so he went into his teammates pit
yes.
stall down pit row. And as far as I understand, he got put to the end of the longest line. Now, I didn't understand why he didn't get a 1 or 2 lap penalty for that. I don't know. Have you ever seen that before, Scott?
Never, never. I didn't even know that rule existed. What I mean?
Okay.
That was the first
Right.
for me.
Right.
I know if they lose a tire and it rolls off,
Hmm.
like they lose the jackman and they lose whoever to change the tire.
Right.
They lose him for a race. They got rid
Right.
of you lose your crew chief for the next week or two. They
Yeah.
got
Or
rid of that
six
rule
weeks.
because they're
Yeah.
like,
Right.
yeah, yeah, exactly. They got rid of that rule and they brought it in. So that was kind of smart, intelligent. I mean, you remember like Jeff Burton when they used to do the Winston challenge and stuff. He was one of the first ones that said, "I'll give up the second stage win to get ready for the final stage win and come in and
Sure.
pit 2 laps earlier, so I still have fresh tires." And he went on to win the Winston, million or whatever they
Yeah.
had at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Right.
but
$1 million challenge or whatever that was called.
oh
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So that was super intelligent.
Smoking
These,
them.
these
Smoke them.
guys,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if you know, but there is a war room that back at JGR, back at RCR, back at Hendrick, they got a giant room that they're just watching the race and they're trying to analyze everything that's going down. They're trying to predict the race. It's not the guy just sitting there in pit
Right.
road. They
Right.
got a whole nother system going on that's even deeper that we don't see. They've only
Absolutely.
shown it on Fox once or twice. You know,
Right.
and Hendrick, their war room got it wrong. They missed predictions. It's
They
math.
did. It
It's
is.
not
It is math.
live. You know, and same with Trackhouse. If they would have got it right, they would have probably won. But those Fords were
Right.
just too dominant this week.
And I think for everybody listening, I think what Scott's referring to, correct me if I'm wrong, is Hendrick probably had the strongest cars, but they pitted at the wrong time. They pitted with
Yes.
70 laps to go. And I don't
Yeah.
think the math worked out. Maybe they were assuming cautions. I don't know, but it didn't work out.
They're trying to break up the optimum time of the tire to get the
Mm-hmm.
best speed out of the tire, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were going to go half and half, 40 laps, 40 laps. That's what their
Okay.
goal was. So
Mm-hmm.
they wanted to hit that peak at the right time.
Right.
Unfortunately, Noah hits the wall, changes everything up.
Right.
Joey starts driving down, thinks he has the W. And then guess what? His team fell short.
Yeah.
And then I think what did he get, top 15? He was way
I
down.
he was way
That guy
down. I
went
don't
from winning.
yeah.
That guy went from winning and getting most points from Vegas to, he
Yeah.
had to be fired up. You know,
Oh, well, I
it ain't,
can't even
it
imagine the
ain't,
chatter.
It ain't Jimmy Johnson fired up when frickin' Jimmy Johnson yelling out, "Why is Jeff Gordon beat me out? I'm supposed to win the championship." And then all of a
Yeah,
sudden, you saw Jeff Gordon's team went over there and started changing his tires. Wasn't
absolutely.
that fired up? You know,
Absolutely.
but 9 cautions. They had a
Yeah.
6-car pileup that took out quite a big racers.
Yes.
It changed. Vegas was a good show. I thought Vegas was a real good show. It wasn't a snooze fest. I thought there was some good racing all throughout that thing.
I believe
Uh,
there was 7 drivers who led 10 laps or more. There was
yes,
it was good racing. But
yes,
to
good
your
racing at the front.
yes, it was. And honestly, when I'm not the NASCAR fan like you are. You're kind of pulling me by the bootstraps here. But I thought Josh Berry was something they added to Lucky Charms, right? I didn't know who this guy was.
Oh,
And then you start researching. He was a short track guy. You're like you said,
yep.
Junior has invested
Well,
incredible time and money in the guy, and I'm glad to see the guy get rewarded. He's in the chase
yes,
now. He is in the
yeah.
chase.
One new face in the chase. That's what winning gets. You
It
get
does.
a new face in the chase. You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would give it the race. I would say it was out of a 1 to 10. I'd give it an 8. I would really give it
yeah.
an 8. I thought it was good.
It's a solid 8. It's a solid 8. It ain't changing and as dynamic as Atlanta. That's a restrictor plate.
Right.
But Atlanta's restrictor plate has pretty much got it right, I think. But
Hmm.
Vegas, this is the cookie cutter. This is what we're going to be seeing. So
Right.
the Hendricks, the track houses, and the Penske, are they going to dominate the mile and a half? Roush many years ago said, "You dominate the mile and a half if you want the
Yeah.
championship." You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Right.
NASCAR's done their best that in the chase format that they have plenty of diversity with the short tracks and the road
Right.
courses now. We
Hmm.
used to only have 2 road courses forever,
Right.
and now we're up to 4 or 5.
Sure.
Depending on which way the wind blows, if they're going to change Charlotte to the Roval or to the Oval.
Right. I
You know,
wonder, let me ask you this. Did they ever talk about putting a road course in the final 4 races of the chase?
I think they have. I think it's been brought up.
Hmm.
It'd be smart. I mean, I wish they would get away from Phoenix. I don't know why they don't finish in Tennessee or Vegas.
Well, I mean,
I think,
to me, they should have a super speedway. They should have a
yeah,
road course. They should have a
yeah,
mile and a half, and then they should have a mile oval. I mean, let's see the guys.
yeah,
Let's see their skill level on 4 different types of track.
yeah.
I mean, to
The,
me,
the,
that's
the,
just how I see it.
yeah, let's see the elite, get
Right.
to that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I mean, the last race is a one and done. You know what I mean? It's like, here we go.
Absolutely.
It's no
Absolutely.
longer points. Like, I just need to beat one of the 4 guys. That's where it's
Right.
at.
Right.
You know, and but I personally, I would like to see it finish in Tennessee or Vegas, just
Okay.
because
Okay.
that's a good mecca center. Like, you bring your sponsors, you bring everybody in. There's plenty of hotels. There's partying going on.
I
The atmosphere is so much better.
I
Arizona, come on. Scottsdale, come on.
I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue, but honestly, if you think about it, Scott, the way NASCAR has kind of, let's say it's a circular firing squad, they've kind of done a lot of self-inflicted wounds. Phoenix is up there in terms of the biggest media market that they
Yeah,
play
true,
on. There is
true.
Homestead, I guess we're going to say that, but Phoenix is a bigger media market than Vegas. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sure there's somebody, and I think, and I don't believe it, and I know you don't believe it, but I think they're trying to get as much media attention for that final
yeah,
ceremony, and I think it's a big mistake. They need to come back to
yeah,
California. They need to do something in a little more calculated way, I guess. I don't know. It's
yeah,
not, you
yeah,
know, they're trying to get
yeah.
eyeballs, and I think they're shooting themselves in the foot.
I
If you
agree.
put
I
good
agree.
racing out there, if you put good racing out there, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Homestead was the final race for forever and a day. When you have, I mean, honestly, you've seen a million more races than me. There has never been a better race I've seen than Carl Edwards against Tony Stewart for the race. It
That
was the
was one of
winner
the
take all.
best.
That was the
Yeah,
best, right?
that was the best. Yeah. Uh,
And then you have it in the media market and it propels the sport further. But in
yeah,
Phoenix, I mean, there's only so many cars that really are going to be competitive.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you really got to pay attention to New Hampshire, Martinsville, and Phoenix, because that's if you're going for the championship round, those are the races you got to pay attention to. Because when it gets to
Absolutely.
Phoenix, that's where it's at. You know,
Hmm.
but I
Absolutely.
mean, I don't want a track where they're all equal, but I also want a track that's kind of representative a lot. And like, let's throw a party. Let's get it
Yeah.
going. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You want a
All right.
game 7 type atmosphere, it has to go there. So
Amen. Okay, real
yeah,
quick, we're winding down the podcast, but
yeah.
tell me real quick your thoughts on F1. They had the season opener in
Uh,
Australia. Lando Norris won. Verstappen was second. Seemed like there were some problems with Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari. What did you think?
you know, we touched on a little bit on NASCAR about them finally getting into a softer tire, right? You
Yes.
look at F1, they got 3 sets of slicks, they
Yes.
got 2 sets of wet tires.
Yes.
There is a lot of dynamic going there about how it changes the speed, the mapping, and everything. But
Mhm.
like I said, McLaren is real this year. That was going to be a 1-2
You called it.
finish.
You called it. Yes.
Yeah, I that was going to be a 1-2 finish. If it wasn't for the rain in those 2 corners, 11 and 12,
Right.
that it would have been a done deal.
Yeah.
Red Bull doesn't have an answer for him right now.
No.
But it is kind of scary when you hear Verstappen come out and saying, I got 18 more points than I did last year.
Yes.
That's a champion.
That
That's a
is a
champion. That
champion.
reminds me of Jimmy Johnson just salivating, going, yeah, boys, we got something for you. We're coming.
You
That
know,
does.
it does. It reminds me of Jimmy Johnson on the dais at Homestead when he actually looks at the crowd, he looks at the reporters, and Denny Hamlin, I believe, is next to him. He goes, "Now we get the
Yeah.
race." And you
Yeah.
just saw Denny Hamlin's face just, oh my
Yeah.
God, it's real.
Yeah.
We're not trying
Mike
for a
Tyson just
10th,
right hook. Yeah. 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 Mike
right?
Tyson just hit me, and now I got to figure out what to do. You know,
Right,
it is, but it's the beginning. I think they're going to Japan next. We're going to see what
right,
happened. But
right.
that rain really changed it up.
It
As
did.
far as Ferrari, I think they had the same thing as Hendrick. I think they were guessing at something. They
Yeah,
misjudged the tires. They went with that harder tire compound.
right.
And I think if they went with the intermediate, they would have stayed out on the track and they probably would have held off for a top 5 finish. You know,
I
I
think
really
you're
thought
right.
they had speed.
I think the bigger issue with Ferrari is you have a great driver, you have a great crew chief. They have to understand each other. They're coming
Yes.
into this,
Yeah.
and there was some pushback between Hamilton when the crew chief said, "Hey, I think it was turn 12," and he goes, "Yeah, I know." Like,
Yeah.
they almost become one mind of like,
Yeah.
okay, watch out for X, and then the guy's
Yeah.
like, "Yep, cool,
Yeah. And then, the push the pass and whatever
yes,
VR thing that they got going
yes,
on.
right,
He was telling him to use it. And he's like, I'm too far away. I can't use it. What are you talking about? He's like, because there's a spot on the track before you get to with a push pass area that you have to be a certain distance for it to activate.
yeah."
You know what I mean?
Unless you're Penske and you're
And
cheating in Indy, but don't worry about
hey,
that. Oh,
hey,
sorry,
hey,
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 who said
hey,
that?
hey, we're talking F1. We're talking F1. Okay. Okay.
Okay,
So,
Joseph Newgardner, he didn't cheat.
hey,
It was the
no,
crew
no,
chief.
no, 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 no. Hey, I'm behind the wheel, okay? I have
Hey,
nothing
I'm
to do
just
with
doing
this.
my thing. Okay, don't hate.
Come on, let's
All right.
collaborate. Let's not hate, right? Come on.
All right. Hey, you know what? Great podcast like usual with you, my brother.
Yeah,
That's our
always
little
fun.
wrap up. Hit the subscribe and like button. Leave some comments. Unless you want to dog on me, then don't. I don't want to hear it. I've been
Hey,
dealing
no,
with
bring
trolls
it
on the.
on. Hey, I
I
like the
love it.
trolls. Bring them on.
I
Let's
all
go. Come
right. We
on.
got plenty of them out there. All
Hey, we're
right.
not afraid of
And
boxing. Come on. Gold
in the
glove winner
next
right here.
I'll tell you, there's nobody I love talking about sports more than Scott. And I believe either we're dealing with some scheduling issues, some technical issues. So either tomorrow or Wednesday, we're going to do a preview on the March Madness. We're going to do a little deep dive. And let me tell you, this guy over here, the guy who's actually wearing actual green, not the fake green, has got some insight. Yes. That's what I'm talking about, my brother. That's what I'm talking about. All right. You got anything final to say, Scott?
Duke has some problems.
Oh,
They got
they
their
do.
top player hurt and they got their top defender hurt.
Yes.
Are they gonna rest them for 2 rounds? What's gonna happen?
That is the $1 million question. That is the $1 million question. All right, you have a good day, Scott. I'm gonna keep you on here. You know the drill. We got to upload it, but I will see you soon. Okay, you take care, Scott.
Yep.
All right.
Do
All
do
right.
do 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 do.